all these songs are going to be on the playlist. So if you want to check them out and you don't feel like going and looking through Misfit stuff, just throw them on playlist. It's 800 songs strong now. Okay, so my top 5 Michael Graves Misfits songs. I've got 3 that I want to just shout out real quick. I won't talk too much about them. I simply could not come up with just 5. I couldn't do it, man. On 2 albums, I could not. I barely got it to 8. So the 3 that I just want to shout out because they're really great are Scream. Love that song. And again, all these songs are going to be on the playlist. So if you want to check them out and you don't feel like going and looking through Misfit stuff, just throw them on playlist. It's 800 songs strong now. We have Crawling Eye, which, boy, I tell you, man, that is a good song. And then the one that I really, really kept flip-flopping between spot 6 and 5 is Speak of the Devil, because that's one of the catchiest songs that the Misfits have ever put out. That gets stuck in your head. It'll be in your head all day long, man. So, okay. Now the actual top 5, I think we're going to have a lot more to talk about with the Danzig stuff, but Die Monster Die is my number 5. I love that song. This music from this era is big, bold, bright. It's cinematic. I love this guitar tone that they came up with this in this era, because it doesn't exist otherwise. Even the post-Grave stuff, it sounds a little different. Those 2 records, you can basically just put them together as a 2-disc set. They sound almost identical, and the song quality is almost identical. Everything about it is pretty just, I couldn't believe how much they go. If you played me each of those songs and I hadn't been listening to them in a while, I don't think I could pick out which album they were on unless it was something. Yeah. But Die Monster Die is one of my favorite songs by them, period. But number 4, Mars Attacks is a song that I've probably listened to 500 times. I love that song. I love that movie. Yeah, man. How are you feeling about this list so far?
I like it. You're picking some of the more like the funner stuff from this era too. So the stuff that's like less almost Danzig derivative. That was weird about this era. They kind of inadvertently sounded like Danzig, the band, not Dancing with the Misfits. They were doing that. And you have the stuff that's more actually would have fit slightly with the Danzig era, although not quite.
I have all the more pop punk stuff.
You do, yeah. That's what's funny. Which is funny because a lot of people who like this era are the more, like we said, the more metal guys who like some of the slower stuff.
Well, number 3 is Helena. That song, it was really hard to not put that song as number 1, because the lyrical content in that song is so effective. Man, when I first heard that, it's just real simple, dude. Nothing but a guitar. Dun, dun, dun. And if I cut off your arms and I cut off your legs, would you still love me? Love me? Dude, like, what are we doing with these lyrics, bro? Like, it's such a wonderful song, and I'm sorry, folks, for having to let you hear all that. I don't sing very well. My apologies.
Michael Graves is much better at that than he is.
A wee bit, but I'm a better person, so we're gonna just
kind of a low bar there with Graves.
Yeah, very low. I tripped and fell over it. But that song is so good, man. I remember when my dad heard that song, he was like walking by my room, and he was like reading something. He had his glasses on. I'll never forget it, dude, because I didn't see my dad a lot, so I have a few memories of him. And one of them is him like walking by. I could see his shadow. He stopped, and I could see his head come up from like whatever it was he was looking at. And I guess he was listening to it for a minute, and he kind of walked back and popped his head in, and he goes, "Does your mother know you have this?" And I was like, "No, she absolutely does not, because I don't want to be grounded." And he was like, "Yeah, just leave that here when you go home this weekend." And I was like, "Okay, Dad." And I just threw my backpack, took it home with me. Okay, number 2 is Don't Open Till Doomsday. I love that song. It's so, dude, that's one thing about this era of Misfits that I think is almost unmatched and unbeatable. Like, this era created a lot of bands. Their songs are so catchy. And it's funny how you can have something like Don't Open Till Doomsday or the Cut Off Your Arms. I mean, come on, really? Those songs are catchy and memorable, and like you can see girls singing to them and dancing. I've seen lots of females singing to this stuff. It's a certain type of romantic with the Misfits songs, and that's for both eras. It's a certain type of
it's like a crooning that they do. It's
crooning, yeah,
that's what it is.
But the best Michael Graves Misfits song is, to nobody's surprise, "Dig Up Her Bones." So here's the funny thing about that, though. When I was making this list, I had it to 7 songs. And I was looking at it, and I was looking at it, and I was looking at it, and I was looking at it. I was like, that's a pretty good list, man. I'm pretty happy with this. And I was going through Danzig stuff, and I had it on shuffle. And for some reason, it played "Dig Up Her Bones." And I went, wait a minute. And I looked back at my list, and I was like, well, that's clearly number 1. And I just wrote it in at number 1. Because, yeah, man, "Dig Up Her Bones," iconic song. How does that one go? Let's see. Yeah. Oh, my goodness,
is
bro.
What she needs,
Dude.
The steps, but and that video being so lo-fi, and you and I talked about this before. That's the sweet spot, like the AFI sweet horror punk spot. It's not actually the dark part. It's like the B movie horror punk thing, and like there's like the crappy little headstones in that video, and like that's part of the charm.
Oh yeah, he's like walking through that he's walking through that graveyard that looks like a TV movie set.
Yeah, which for the Misfits, that's perfect because they're based off of like TV horror movies. That's exactly their deal. Yeah.
Your camera went all blurry for a second.
I don't know what happened where I went.
Your lighting.
Yeah, it's on auto, so it's
put your hand up to your camera, cover it, and then all the way. Put your palm up there. Now move it back slowly. Slowly, like you got to move it back slowly. I'm not kidding. I used to do this all the time. No, move it back, bro. Like towards you. Like it's got to stay in focus. Boom, there it goes. Boom, fixed it. Told you.
There, look at that.
Ha ha! You can tell I used to have to do that a lot.
Yeah.
Anyways, dude. When I figured that out, I was so irritated because I had to do it all the time. But yeah, that video is really great. And every time you look up like a Michael Graves solo thing, it's always "Dig Up Her Bones." It's always "Dig Up Her Bones." That is probably in like competition with any Danzig song, I would think. I mean, Misfits song. Excuse me. I would actually say Helena is probably as well. Those are probably 2 songs that are like in like the top tier of any Misfits song. But yeah, that would be my top 5 Michael Graves Misfits songs. Let me go ahead and throw these out one more time real quick. Top 5 Michael Graves songs are, with honorable mentions being "Scream," "Crawling Eye," "Speak of the Devil." But number 5 is "Die Monster Die." Number 4 is "Mars Attacks." Number 3 is "Helena." Number 2 is "Don't Open Till Doomsday." And number 1 is, of course, "Dig Up Her Bones." Let's move on to Danzig stuff. I would like you to talk now. Do what?
I was surprised you didn't mention Saturday Night. What was your take on Saturday Night? That's such a polarizing song and such a.
Is it?
Yeah. No, I wouldn't say polarizing, but it's a known song that
really
a lot of people cover. Yeah. And it's one of the ones that like Graves always busts out on his sets, on his acoustic sets.
Okay.
Another one that I think people, check it out because it's framed as this romantic 1950s slow, like almost like an O'Donna kind of ballad.
Yeah.
But it's about him murdering her, in the backseat of their car.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I know
so
this
if you're not paying attention to the lyrics, it actually sounds like a very sweet romantic song.
Yeah, hold on. While you're talking, I'm gonna just pick up a little tiny snippet of it real quick.
Yeah. I was just wondering if there was any mention on that, just because that one is the one.
No,
I speak on.
I want to make sure I didn't. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Okay. So, I really like that song, like a lot actually. But in my opinion, there was so many better songs on their records. I'm surprised that one gets covered. I don't know. It's a good song, but I don't think it's close to their best.
It was one of like the known songs of the era too. That's part of why.
Interesting. I didn't know that. I didn't know that at all. I think that's it's a good song. Like when I hear it, I like and I enjoy it, but it doesn't get me going. These other songs, they get me going, man.
Like you said, "Dig Up Her Bones" is just, I don't even consider that a Graves Misfits song. That's just a Misfits song. Like that. Yeah. That one rises to that level of,
Yeah, it's such a good track. But yeah, Saturday Night's a good song, man. It does deserve a mention. I don't know. I think that the slow, swoony stuff that they do is like it's cool, but they're so much better at faster up tempo stuff, in my opinion, personal opinion. So I will get to my Danzig stuff after you do yours.
Okay. All right, so we're gonna get started then.
Yes.